Okay, so yeah, we're down here at Pandoland, just outside of Raleigh, and we've shown this site before. This is a pocket forest, and this is in its 4th year. And so if you're not familiar with the pocket forest, the idea is it's a super dense planting, incredible high diversity of species. We've got all sorts of woody species, trees and shrubs. And if you look back at some of our previous videos, there was a fence where I'm standing right now. You can see the post still sitting over here. The fence has now been removed because all the shrubs are tall enough, as you can see, to really, the deer might browse a little bit of lower branches, but they're all way above the animal browse at this point. So if we walk in here, tons of species, Chickasaw plum, elderberry. You can see 4 years in, and this is like dark, dense shade under here. It's absolutely, I mean, it's got to be like almost a 10-degree difference from the sun into the shade. And so this is where you can really see the benefit of a pocket forest, being able to provide shade and habitat, food for insects in a very brief time and in a small space. And there used to be a pathway somewhere in here. It's kind of hard to tell where it is now. We got some black locust in here. Some spider webs, that's good, good. Check out the thorns on this black locust.
Oof.
Whew.
Not want to run into that.
I think this is a native mulberry. Nice Chickasaw plum. I mean, it's hard to believe we're really 4 years down the road. I mean, this is a massive shrub, right? 4 years. I guess 5 years if you include the fact that they were planted as 1-year-old seedlings.
About 4 years in the ground. It's pretty
4
impressive.
years in the ground. Pretty impressive, right? And you know, there's a lot of succession happening here. So a lot of the elderberry, the black locust, the Chickasaw plums, they're either shorter in the case of the elderberry and the plums, or with the black locust, they're shorter lived, even though they're kind of tall trees. Whereas the canopy layers, these longer lived, slower growing species like the oaks, they are here. They will eventually dominate this site over time. This is what the rest of Pandoland looks like. It's just, you know, the premise here, for those who aren't familiar, it used to be a hayfield. It's now kind of being managed as a conservation site. So there's all sorts of projects going on. A lot of this is routinely brush hogged, but it's allowed to grow up with, you know, so that there can be food for the pollinators and insect habitat. And certain trees that have popped up have been saved, like a lot of the wild plums that we're gonna go look at over here. They just showed up on their own, so do the persimmons. And, you know, I know Pando is working at managing the invasives, the Bradford pears, that sort of thing. And we grafted some native persimmons over here that I'm excited to go take a look at. That's a fire ant mound, just to be larking for you to know what to look for. Don't step on those. All right, this is a really good one. So here you can see native persimmon, and right here you can see the graft union, where last year we cut it here above deer browse. We grafted 2 pieces of scion wood on from another American persimmon, but one that makes very desirable fruit. You know, not as big as the Asian types in the grocery store, but still pretty big, tasty fruit. And so no fruit on it this year, but perhaps next year we'll get some fruit. And this patch was thicker. You can see here where Pando has done some management. They have come in and cut a lot of these persimmons on the ground because it was a very dense, there was a lot of stems. And now after doing this thinning, we'll have to thin them again, but it's providing enough sunlight to really encourage healthy growth on the few trees that we did graft. There's another one over here, let's see. So this one, right, no graft unions. We did not graft this one. I'm assuming we're gonna graft it in the future, but it does have fruit. So it is a female tree, native persimmon growing here. This one is grafted right next to it. You can see this is, look, we've got the graft union here, and this one has fruit. This is the 2nd year from grafting, so that's really cool. There's going to be a couple nice fruits on here, and we'll be able to compare, right, the grafted fruit to some of these non-grafted. Again, these are both the native species, just this one has been selected for having better fruit quality. A lot of flowers over here. That's pretty nice.
Right.
Seen a lot of little butterflies and moths and stuff. So if you can see, let's see, we zoom out. This is what that persimmon patch that we grafted looked like before we grafted it, like just to show the density of stems that can occur. And that's why we did that thinning. Now we're over here at the Chickasaw plum patch. You can see these plums pretty loaded with fruit.